I think maybe I have the superpower of persuasion and bringing people together. So she was like actually complimenting me for doing the work that we're doing now, and how I go about doing that so quick and getting everyone so quickly involved and everything. I don't know how to say that, but maybe it's not a word, but more a sentence of I enjoy working as a team and bringing everyone together, bring everyone on the journey. And I know who to go to.
Welcome to Latinx in Power, a podcast hosted by Thaisa Fernandes.
Welcome to Latinx in Power. I'm so honored to have Thelma Neves with us today.
Hey, Thaisa. Thank you for having me.
Thelma has a bachelor degree in graphic design and a master's in communication design. She initiated her career as a graphic designer and transitioned to user experience over the years. Thelma has experience managing design teams from the agent side and also client side. Now, she's a product designer manager at BT. Thelma Neves is a Latinx in Power because she's a Brazilian who decided to follow her dreams, move to the UK and work as a design manager for a long time. Can I share something personal?
Yes.
I remember when we first met at the wedding of our dear friend Olivia, and I remember when we were talking about our careers, you said, I love to be a manager. I love to manage people and products, and I thought it was so powerful.
I know. Can't believe it's been a year ago.
How would you describe your journey?
It's funny to think about this as a journey. It's like you never think about that as a journey, do you? Just think it's your life. But yeah, it's been a journey, and that made me think like, wow, 13 years ago, I moved to UK. What have I done? Why did I do that? And then you start like just trying to remember why you made the decisions that you made. But I think everything started 13 years ago, or maybe 14 years ago, when I decided I wanted to do my master's degree. I actually moved mountains in Brazil to try to make that happen. I moved jobs, so I changed jobs. I was working at the time in a clothing company called Thais Guzmão, and I loved that job, but they didn't pay really well. And I moved to an agency where I actually got paid better, and then I could start saving money for my master's degree. At the time, I wanted to go to Italy or Spain for that, but when I started researching, I noticed that you need to have a really good level of knowledge of the language. And it was zero to none Spanish or Italian. So I had to potentially go to America or UK because there was the English language, and I was okay with it. And I wasn't like as good as I am now, of course, but it was okay to do a master's degree on that. So I knew that my best friend, Luciana, was living in Bournemouth, UK, and I asked her, so how is it there? How is things? How is life? Can you share a little bit with me? Do you recommend me going there? And she's like, yeah, why don't come and live with me? And I was like, yeah, I will. So let's go. So after a few months, I saved up, I booked a ticket, and I went to UK. So I started living with her, and when I got in UK, it was really nice. As a new person living in the foreign countries, it's always so exciting. I met loads of people. She has loads of friends. I started my degree. I finished after 1 year. And after that, in UK, at the time, they were giving 2 years full-time work visas for students. So I applied for that. I got the visa. And after 9 months, sending CVs, doing interviews, searching for jobs, I finally got a job as a graphic designer in a financial company as a maternity cover. So it wasn't a permanent one. It was a temporary one for maternity cover. And that was really exciting because it was my first job. And I was like, I can't believe it. I really impressed them. It was really exciting. So that was really fun. And it was my first job in UK. So it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about how to communicate with stakeholders. It taught me a lot how to do presentations, how to do storytelling. I gained confidence with that and how to lead projects. So that was really, really, really good for me. It built my confidence, my knowledge of methods and tools in the industry. Also helped me to get where I am today. So I think that was almost like a foundation base for me to learn how it is here, because of course you know everything in Brazil and you have the knowledge, but when you're in a different country, different culture, different ways of doing things. You almost like need to relearn everything. As like it's quite funny, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because there's like the language part that plays a huge part, but there's also the culture, the different products, and the way of like doing things.
It's also exciting, isn't it? It is like a scary thing, but exciting. You kind of like want to go for it. You want to learn more and you want to do more. And all the time you've done something, you want to just like another step and another step. So it was really, really good for me. So today I work as a product design manager for BT. BT stands for British Telecommunications. So BT is a group basically. And under BT group, you have 3 brands. So under the umbrella, you have BT, you have EE, that is a mobile network and Wi-Fi as well. And PlusNet, that is a different brand, is up north UK. I predominantly work on EE brand. I love to work for this company. I think if I see how I got here, it kind of like makes completely sense because I always wanted to work for a company where put the customers first, put the customer at the heart of everything that we do. And they are doing something completely different. They were restructuring at the time. Before I even applied for the job, I found out that they were restructuring at the time. And they pointed out 2 new roles, MD for digital and a design director. For a company that has so much heritage, so much like old culture as like different ways of working, to bring that into the play means that they're doing changes in their operation model. They're doing changes to make it better basically for the digital team, for the design team as well. So I thought that was really interesting. And when I found out that I applied for a job because they had a product design manager role there, and I applied for the job and I got it. So that was really interesting. And you have 106 designers across 4 sites. We have 3 brands, and it's a very exciting place to be working on at the moment because I think we are changing in a day-to-day basis. We change the ways that we do design. We talk about users, how we solve problems, how we change behaviors. It's all about that, and that's really exciting.
Really cool. This next one is my favorite question. I always get really interesting answers, so I need to ask you, what does it mean to be a Latina for you?
I know this question is amazing. I think it means to be proud and passionate about what we do and who we are all the time. My husband always jokes with me about this. He says that no matter what and how they do in UK, in Brazil is 20% better. Because I always jokes to him that it's like, no, but you do it here in Brazil, we do this way because it's so much better. Because I'm so passionate and proud about being Brazilian, about my culture, about my heritage. And I think we very much live that in a day-to-day, even being far away, being here for 13 years. I think I'm always trying to bring Brazilian culture close to my home, listening to Brazilian songs, cooking. The food is always really part of, I think, for any Brazilian, food, family, sharing with friends and family here, my new friends and family here. Now they're married, so I have the other side of the family as well. So I think I always being passionate about stuff. So I think that comes with my culture, my Brazilian culture, my Latino culture.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that part because I feel living in another country, we learned a lot. We need to adapt a lot, but at the same time, we can combine our culture, our ways of doing things and thinking with the country you're living. So I think it makes us really powerful.
And depending where you are, I know that you're in America and I'm in UK, it's different culture that they have, is a different life. But it's funny to think that how you can change people as well in the process and for the best. So like my husband's family, my parents-in-law, they never used to hug or kiss like when they used to come to my house. And I found that really surreal. So I started introducing this, and now they can't let it go. So it's like kisses and hugs and like taps in the back and everything. So I found that really amusing that it's that powerful, our culture and the way that we treat people, the way that we welcome people to our lives, to our homes, that they kind of like get that, and now they made their own. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
They are huggers now.
They are huggers and kisses. Yeah.
And what is your best tip for making the world a better place?
That one is hard. I think there is so much we can do. I think that there's something that you can do yourself. There's something that you can do at work. I think if you go like into the work side of it, there is a lot of conversations about climate change. There's a lot about the reduction of carbon emissions. And especially now where I'm working, we are thinking about that. We're thinking about the future. We think about how actually that reflects to our products, how that reflects to our services. We sell mobiles, we sell devices, we sell Wi-Fi connections, we sell all those things, how that's going to be reflecting in 10, 20, 30 years' time. So that's the part of it. But I think as an individual, I think I always try to do my best. And now I think even more so with these conversations, like with thinking about clothing, like buy less clothes, for example. You know how much water is wasted to produce like one piece of fabric or one piece of like trousers and T-shirts. There is a lot of conversation about your eating behavior, like eating less meat. I know that you were vegan, and like now I'm buying books to help me to think about new recipes, to actually think about, I don't eat meat, so why do I eat meat? You know what I mean? It kind of like question yourself. Here in UK, we're very good in recycling. I think in America as well, no. So, but here we do a lot of recycling. We try not to waste food as well. So that's very important for me. We try to like plant fruits and vegetables, herbs. Not that I think as every little helps. If there is everyone thinking about this at the same time, I'm sure that we would make a difference in the future. So it's a really hard question, because maybe it's not enough, or maybe it's not a wider knowledge about all this, but it's how you actually transfer your knowledge to other people, and how you can share with other people your knowledge, and how you can make this change in the world.
Yeah, I think you brought an interesting thing, that sometimes it's more about the small actions that you can do in your daily lives, each individual, than something like that is huge and complicated. And sometimes we depend on like politicians, the government, that, you know, we know that it's harder and takes time. So I agree. I feel that it's more like us trying to do our best, and our small actions count. For sure, yeah. And always make you think. No, I think with the amount of people that you know, everyone has their own history to tell, or different ways of doing things. So I try to learn a lot from others. So maybe I think the same, that if I try to teach others, they might learn something as well, something new every day, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see that, especially since I moved to here. So I'm vegan, and I met a lot of people, so I have new friends. So they're always curious about what I eat. Sometimes they try, and some of them became vegan. The other ones are reducing the amount of meat. And I think it's amazing. It's something really huge.
It is. And it doesn't take much, does it? If you think about it, it doesn't take much. It's such a small step to do it. And it's not even, we're not saying that you need to be completely vegan, or you don't need to eat, you know what I mean? It's just a few days. Even my husband's parents start like some vegan diets to reduce the amount of meat that they eat, and actually improve their lifestyle. So I found that fascinating. Even my mom in Brazil, I shared recipes with her, really? And she's really interested, and she's an amazing cook. So it's like she can do anything. So and I think I learned from her to how to love vegetables. So I don't have any fussness. I'll eat anything. So there's no problem for me, I think, to change this eating habits. Yeah.
Really cool. And tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear these phrases. First one, your favorite place.
Any beach in Brazil.
Cool.
Any beach in Brazil with a nice sun, a nice cocktail, or a gin and tonic, anything like that. I would be happy. I think I miss a lot of that here. I miss the heat. I miss the nice warm water.
And I think something amazing that happens in Brazil, if you go to any beach, you can have anything, right? You can have cocktails, you can eat, you can do whatever you want.
I know. And it's so funny that now Tom, that's my husband, Tom, and his 2 brothers and my sister-in-law, they went to Brazil with me once and they found amazing. They were like, wow, you can buy sunglasses and a big swim costume, and you can also have a cocktail. And how can they be in the same place? So it's amazing. It's like their mind were blown by that. So it's so funny.
And how about the UK?
I don't want to say the cheesy part of rain, because rains here all the time. But in a positive side, I would say here was the place that my husband taught me how to surf. I'm not an amazing surfer. I'm not saying that, wow. But yeah, I learned here, and I think that brought me, it kind of like connects to my favorite place, that is the beach. So even though here is not as warm as Brazil and it's not the same place, I still try to have that connection with the water, and we live close to the water here as well. So we don't live in London, we live in Highcliffe. That is a very small village or town that is 10 minutes from the beach walk. So I found myself very lucky to be living here, and it's amazing. I just loved like the quiet as well, and being from São Paulo where everything is like a nightmare, come to a place that is completely the opposite, literally. It's quite relaxing.
Really cool. And this is my second favorite question, the superpower.
I was in a meeting today and I got a comment from one of the heads of products, and she said, Thelma, you have this power of bringing people together and getting help. Everyone wants to help you. So I think maybe I have the superpower of persuasion and bringing people together. So she was like actually complimenting me for doing the work that we're doing now, and how I go about doing that so quick and getting everyone so quickly involved and everything. I don't know how to say that, but maybe it's not a word, but more a sentence of, I enjoy working as a team and bringing everyone together, bringing everyone on a journey. And I know who to go to for what I need as well. So I don't waste time or people's effort or anything. So, and communication as well, I think, yeah.
And a surprise.
2020. I don't know if that counts as a good surprise.
Yeah.
But definitely was a surprise.
And talking more about your career, what do you wish you had known when you started your career?
I think the thing that I wanted to tell myself, if I could go back in time, is it's okay to fail. I think when I was younger, I had this perception that I had to be perfect and the work should be outstanding. And now that I'm a manager and I'm coaching other designers in the industry, I think it's important to create a safe environment culture where we can be honest when things go wrong as well as right, celebrate learnings and have less expectations coming top down. Of course, stakeholders have a big part in our life, so in our work. So it's how we control that. I think it's quite important for me to almost like stop the noise coming to them and let them do the work that they're meant to be doing, do the research, learn from users, learn the behaviors, test and learn. As a design team, we are driven by user needs, and all that we do is based on evidence. We trust each other. We have the freedom to try, fail, and keep learning in all that we do. So at work, we have this UCD process that we create internally called Build, Measure, Learn, BML. So essentially, it's to learn fast and continuous improvement. So I think that's so important as a designer, that you have the freedom to be able to fail and learn from the things that didn't go right. And it's not even a fail, it's just that you're trying. You never know until you actually test, until you make a life for customers, until you get evidence, you get data, it's so much that it drives that performance for that particular team that you're making live. So I think it's really important as a designer that you need to understand that you need to let yourself go, otherwise almost like impact in your work. You always care, or you're not that creative because you always care of failing. So I think definitely it's important to teach that to others, and it would be good to know that in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I have been thinking about that a lot lately, especially, and I feel it's so powerful. I right now I'm saying that I'm a perfectionist in recovery because I don't want to be a perfectionist anymore. And actually, I want to fail, and I want to fail fast, and I want to improve. And I think it's so powerful having this mindset. It alleviates a lot of pressure. What matters in the end is really how fast you can recover, how fast you can improve and learn, instead of like doing things right from the first time, which is impossible. It's impossible to do that all the time.
Exactly. We have a saying at work saying that no matter what we're going to make in life, it's not going to be perfect. That we know that it's not going to be right. So if you already have the expectation, so you shouldn't hold back, basically. So just do the most bonkers thing as well. Be as creative as you can. Of course, take everything in consideration for what you're trying to deliver. Yeah. But I think that should launch your creativity to the sky, shouldn't it? Because if the perception is that, well, what do I have to lose? If the outcome will be something that I will have to iterate anyway. So why be afraid to hold back?
Yeah. And this mindset you can apply in everything.
Anything, yeah.
Anything you do. And you can do more. You can do more. You can experiment. And it's amazing. It's a new world for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely could apply that to anything in life. Is it that career that you don't know if you will be able to get? Is it that job? Is it, I don't know, I'm trying to save for this, so saving money towards something. Is this something related to, I don't know, or I don't think I will never get to that point in my life. So definitely it's maybe just thinking that you can, and thinking that why not you? It should be you. Why not? You should put yourself first.
Love that. And I talked about that before. And I love when you said to me that you really enjoy being a manager. And I thought that was really powerful. I absolutely love that. And I'm curious, so what do you enjoy the most in being a manager?
I think I love everything about being a manager. I love managing people. I love coaching. I love understanding the frustrations, understanding how can I help, how can I apply my own skills and my own experience to help them out, basically. And I think before going to be a manager, I was always frustrated with certain things, or in the process, operation model. And now I always thought that maybe if I try to be a manager, maybe I can actually help and change things and make things better. So when I got my job as a manager, I thought that, okay, now that's it. We can make things different. We can definitely have those tough conversations with stakeholders. We can definitely start changing the ways of working internally. And I think that's what I love as well. I love being able to do that and make a difference. I don't like to, you know, that you always had a bad manager perhaps in your past. And I never would like to be that one. I would like to actually try to be a difference, trying to make a difference for my team, for my direct reports, and for what we do internally as well. That I think is so important.
Cool. And I imagine that being a designer manager, you definitely need to be curious. You need to be curious about people, process, product, a lot of things. So what are you curious about right now?
So many things. So I'm in a very, very special place right now, as I like to say. I am a product design manager, and just recently I changed teams. And now we working in a vision and a strategy for the product. And I am absolutely loving it. I never worked with strategy before. I always wanted to, but I never had the chance to do it. So I'm really curious about how can I influence, how I can contribute, how can we work as a team, how can we bring more teams together, how can we work more collaborative, how we're going to start looking into this, how we're going to start actually building this vision that is a strategy that is actually going to turn up to be a backlog. How are we going to deliver this? So that's a very exciting process. And this strategy is a vision for the company. I love the fact to be able to be working on that and be contributing to it. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think design visions are so interesting and mind-blowing. And I think especially right now, it's really good to think about the future. So we don't need to think that much about 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned about changing teams, and I'm curious about how was your process. I think we were talking before we started recording about changing careers, changing jobs. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about your process, your thinking.
Yeah, so when I started in this company that I'm working for at the moment, I started working in a particular area, and I had the opportunity to be able to change to a service area to a sales area. Mm-hmm. And the jump and the change of a scenario and outcomes and the pace of it, I think it really suits me as a person, because I'm all about I can't be at home. I need to have something that I can work on. I need to be excited about stuff. I need to be all the time working and learning and communicating with the team. And I found sales is very much like that, because sales is something that is for yesterday. You're working on stuff. You do have time to do the research, don't get me wrong. We do have that time. But it is a fast-paced scenario. It is a more engaging process. It is about everyone working together. And the beauty of it is that everyone in this team, in this area, that is the upgrade area. So it's when you're already a customer and you finish your contract and you're ready for upgrade. So it's that journey basically that I looked at. And everyone was new to the area. So there's other people coming in from other areas, or new people coming into the company. So new employees. And there is so many women. It's amazing. We call ourselves like power women, because literally I've never been, you're having meetings that it's really hard to get your voice across, or if you're a man in a meeting, it's really hard for them to get the voice across or communicate something, because it's so exciting to have the head of product is a woman, the senior product one is both women, the POs under them women. So it's really, really exciting, because I am the only woman as a product design manager. So everyone else is a man. So for me to be able to work with others and learn from them, I think is exciting and amazing. So yeah, I found myself in a really good position. I think I'm learning every day, and I'm always happy to share my learnings with them as well. And they're very receptive. So it's really exciting. It's really good. But in terms of changing jobs, it's quite interesting that if I wasn't that excited about moving to a different area internally and get excited about getting new challenge, I think that's when you in time, you kind of like try to reflect about what you're doing, reflect about what you want your career to be. That if you don't have those challenges and excitement periods that you think that you're learning and you're growing, it's really hard to stay in the company. So that's where you click and you say, look, I think I use everything that I could possibly use from this company. I learn everything that I could possibly have learned from it. And I think you kind of like decide internally in your head that you need to move on. So I think it's a natural thing, isn't it? I think everyone does that. That's why you move careers. That's why you progress as well. And you grow. And if you want to be, if you were a designer and you want to be a manager, or if you want to jump from other areas because you learned from it, that's the time when you know yourself that it's time to move on and trying to go to a different journey, basically.
Yeah, you brought an interesting point. I think this is so important to really pay attention and also think about if you're excited about your job, your team, what you're doing, because this is definitely really important. And I'm curious about what's the most important quality of a product designer should have, in your opinion?
I think a challenge that a lot of product designers or any designer face is if they should go deep or broad in their skills. I think depending where you work or set in your or in an organization sometimes feels like you literally need to know everything. So sometimes there's no, especially a product designer nowadays, I think we use the sentence as like they are unicorns, so they should know UI and UX. So it's quite a lot of skills, isn't it? It's quite a lot of tools, it's quite a lot of stuff to know. But there is so much information out there that it's very easy to get overwhelmed. Yes. I think it's important to focus your time on things that really matters and what make you a better designer for the long run. Mm-hmm. So if you spend your time on specific books or subjects, you might miss out on things that it can be important for your career, basically. So I think tools and methods you can learn very easily, but there is other things that I think is quite important. So I kind of like have 4, I believe. Mm-hmm. So one is communication. Yes. If you are able to get a message across in a fast and appealing way, it makes all the difference. We interact with coworkers, with users, with employees, and of course with stakeholders, clients during a project. So being a great communicator is key to actually get things done. A good example is storytelling, isn't it? So if you can do that, I think that's a skill that you're going to have for life. Another one, I think, is facilitation. So not only workshops, but also being able to handle and use group dynamics to get a team to achieve the best outcome in a little time as possible. So if you can do that together with the communication, you're already like amazing. So it's great to have certain skills that could help you bring the synergy, because when you're a part of a team, you need to have that synergy. You need to create that dialogue. You need to be honest with each other. You're dependable with each other, basically, aren't you? I think that kind of brings me to my third one, that is empathizing. So it's not really a surprise, is it? You need to be empathetic. You need to be able to learn or to listen to others. So especially as a designer, you need to listen to users. This is your nature, isn't it? Is what our job is about. So learning to see and understand the world from someone else's perspective and be able to connect with them is a skill that provides great results in the end. And curiosity, because we were just talking about curiosity before. Yes. And I think curiosity is everything. I think to be a designer is to be able to explore ideas, to discover new things, to do research, to learn from competitors, to learn from others, to be able to think far ahead, to be able to think in that blue sky, basically. So this is not really a list. This is not like a step-by-step thing that I think someone, if you want to be a product designer, that's what you should have. But I'm sure that everyone has different ideas, but this is just my thoughts, I think. I don't think just about learning tools and methods, as I said, is about developing your communication, facilitating empathy, and curiosity for sure. And this is probably the things that, as a manager, some things that I always look for when I'm hiring as well. So it's not something that you normally see in a portfolio. It's not something that you normally see in a CV. Yes. It's something that you do when you talk to someone, when you do the face-to-face, or now that's our new norm in a video conference. How you get that across, how you come across that. So I think it's really important that you bring those things up front when you're doing that, because it's really important for any team.
Yeah, this is so interesting how maybe in the beginning people focus more on the tools instead of other things, for communication, for example, and how communication plays a huge part as a designer. And I think in general, I love your suggestions, and you can also apply to different areas. And this is so interesting. I imagine, like, for product managers, for example, communication is like the first thing, in my opinion. It's so important. But also for designers, engineers, product owners, program managers, this is like the most important thing, because in the end of the day, you're working with people and you need to communicate with people your ideas, your suggestions, and work together. So communication is definitely the key to everything.
It is. And you kind of like forget that now I think remotely is even harder to be able to keep that communication going. You need to work extra hard to make sure that you're talking, because you're not seeing people, you're not having that like quick corridor chat or catch up with anyone. Nowadays, I found even harder to maintain that. So how you keep that, especially with my team, or making sure that they keep the communications in between their squads. So it's how we keep that going, keep the momentum, keep it moving in a health way, of course. But yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm always up for communication, collaboration. I think I try to avoid silo. I try to avoid having like small talks, like separate without involving the right people. I always think it's fundamental to bring everyone along the journey. Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want, essentially. You just end up duplicating your effort to actually create more meetings with other people and then say the same thing over and over again. Whereas you could just do one big meeting and that's it, done.
Yeah, perfect. And what is helping you to cope during this pandemic situation? Is there anything you wanted to share that is helping you?
I think the most important thing is being present. I think especially with the pandemic, isn't it? You'd never know what's going to happen. You don't know what is going to be in a week, 2 weeks, a month, next year. You don't know anything. So my husband, he's a great supporter. Also my friends and family. But he always says that we will cross that bridge when we get there. So there's no point thinking about the future if you can't control it and you don't know what's going to happen. So I love that saying, we will cross the bridge when we get there, because that's exactly that, isn't it? There's no point of thinking about that now. So yeah, this is just my perspective of how I'm feeling now, because I don't want to worry about things. I don't want to know if it's going to happen, if it's not going to happen. I think it's so important and key for us to live the right now and be present.
Yeah, I love that. I really like that. And I think it's an interesting and amazing way to finish our podcast. And it's definitely, let's think about the present, what we are living right now, because I think we all learned that this year. We can't control the future. And sometimes that's no point about like thinking that much. What matters is that let's build a better future and now.
Yes, exactly. There is no tomorrow, or there is tomorrow, but who cares? It's like, let's live it now.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Thelma. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me, Thaisa. Yeah, I hope I came across okay.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really cool. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have more interviews with amazing Latinx every first Tuesday of the month. Check our website, latinxempower.com, to hear more. Don't forget to share comments and feedback, always with kindness. See you soon.